Hey everyone, Sev here. Today I'm here to talk about my new pure Predaplant deck profile. Um, I've had it built for a while now, I just haven't really been able to make a video on it for outside reasons involving going to university for my first semester and really not being able to get a job where I am. So to start off, we have 3 copies of Predaplant Orphis Scorpio, and then 3 copies of Biplisp, 2 copies of Chlamydia Sundew, 1 copy of Banksy Ogre, 1 Hydra, 1 Sarciniant, and then 1 Darlingtonia Cobra. So these are our main line. These are the old heads, sort of. Biplisp doesn't really count. So Scorpio is still like your main line, what you want to see in your opening hand. But if you see Scorpio and Bip, you're doing pretty well. But if you see Clammy and Bip, you're doing pretty well. But there are just some hands where you kind of do really have to just kind of wing it and really see where things go. And Cobra is still a one of. I've experimented with 2, but I still think 1 is the correct way to go. Then for our pendulum lineups, we have 3 Botulicula and 2 Triantis. In the pure version, playing 3 buff and 2 tri are good ratios, but if you're playing the branded version, cutting the 2 or 1 buff and then none Triantis is just fine. But like playing the branded version, a lot of these ratios change up, and especially with the new cards that have been released, changing these ratios is practically mandatory. But this is a pure variant, so we are not necessarily concerned with the branded engine as of right now. Although we haven't necessarily abandoned it entirely. We'll get to it when we get to it. 2 copies of Lone Fire Blossom. If you want to make room for hand traps, cutting 1 of this or even both of this goes a really big mile, because really it is a hand trap magnet. It is pretty useful, but it is a hand trap magnet. 2 copies of Preda Practice, 1 Predaplast, 1 Ponix, 1 Pruning, and 2 Planning. Now, if you are making room for hand traps, Plast and 1 of the Plannings are good options along with the Lone Fires to cut in exchange for Ashes, Nibiru's, Droll and Lockbirds, Permanences, stuff like that. Or if you want to load this deck on a Master Duel, which I actually did, it got me to Diamond, but playing in Diamond with this deck wasn't the easiest, but I mean, it's not a terrible deck. But Plast and 1 of the Plannings are definitely flex spots that you can throw in, like if you want to go on Master Duel, Maxi. And we got 2 Chain, should be 3 though, 3 Patchwork, and then 2 Poly Research off of it. So like I said, this should be 3 Chain, but I just haven't been able to order cards, so it should be 2 and 3, because this can search this, but after you run out of these, this is dead, because this needs to search both this and this. So with 3, you kind of just get like if you want to play 3 and 3, you can, but I mean, if you want to really tighten up space, 3 and 2 would be the most optimum ratios. And then 2 Polymerization, because before I left for college, I made a pretty neat upgrade to this deck that I think really makes the deck shine in a lot of go second scenarios. So like I said, we haven't entirely given up the branded engine. I don't think any version of this deck can really fully give it up, because branded fusion is just amazing. Branded fusion, and then already, like, if you have most of your mainline combo out, this can basically get you an extra negate, and that's really crazy. So 2 branded fusion, 1 Fall of Albaz, and Fall of Albaz really is just an insane card. And then for our fusion lineups, we're playing 3 Super Polymerization, 1 Ultra Polymerization. I tried this at 2, I didn't like it at 2, so we cut it down to 1, but 1 Ultra Polymerization is still really useful. Like, this card is really nice, especially with another card we're playing the extra deck. 1 Predaplant Fusion, This can be used to dodge effects like impermanence or Valor, so it is pretty useful. However, things like Valor aren't very popular right now due to triple tactics thrust, and then instant fusion because it honestly might be like the second best fusion card in this entire deck. It has the most utility. If you open this, you have a guaranteed starter. And then for generic one-offs, we're playing one called by and Foolish Burial. Sadly, in the very ugly platinum rare. Now onto the extra deck, we have 2 Ambulamoides. This is your starter. This is like a negotiable piece of the extra deck. You'll at least play one of these until Konami decides to print a more broken version of this. And then one Chimera Rafflesia, Jesus. A pretty decent go second tool to just kind of clear boards. I have found myself, using this, and especially with the Predator counters, because that's a big focus in this deck now, is distributing Predator counters and getting them on the field. Its banish effect is really useful. And if you can weave this into your combo line, which isn't a difficult thing to do, you can get a guaranteed search to super polymerization, so you just have it on your opponent's turn. You can just drop it and immediately just start tearing their board to shreds. And then 2 Dragostapelia. I don't know about 2, I think 1 would be just fine, but 2 does come up when you can't necessarily get to the next card. It's going to be up next. But 2 is nice. It is straight up monster negation, and with Predaplanting can be mass monster negation. And against the right matchups, Dragostapelia is just devastating. And 1 Predaplant Trivial Vertum. This card is a game ender. If you can get to your scales and even one of your Predaplants, Trivial Vertum is an absolute house. Like, this shit, I've gotten it to 13,000 attack on Master Duel. Like, it hits like a truck, and it is no joke. And also, it is a board presence and an interruption on your opponent's turn. And then for Fusion Dragon lineup, we're running 1 Starving Venom, mainly as a super poly target, but it comes up rarely, but it's super poly target. Greedy Venom. This actually does come up, and I actually do use this a hilarious amount of times. Like, I've had times where people like just pop this card, and I'm like, all right, cool. Banish a little late from grave, summon it back, and they're just like, well, you lose your board too, so it's not bad. And then Predapower. I would love to get this in the secret rare, but I sadly can't right now. But the soonest I can, we gonna be upgraded. We gonna be styling. But this card, when you open Branded Fusion and you're able to combo, this card is essentially a guarantee. So that's what I really like about implementing Branded Fusion even into a pure variant of the deck. And then our Branded Fusion target, we're playing Lubellion, the Searing Dragon. So basically, this is, you shuffle this back in any of your fusions, boom, you have yourself a Predapower fusion, which is an Omni-Negate on your opponent's turn, with the addition of Dragostapelia or Trivial Vertum, and it's just crazy. And then the best go second tool in this entire deck is Guardian Chimera, because you have so many both conspicuous and inconspicuous lines to it, and it can be so devastating, basically giving you 2 additional cards to play with, or even 2 pops on your opponent's field. Guardian Chimera is still an insane card, and I understand why it's as expensive as it is. Next, for finishing up the super poly targets, we got 1 Garura, for obvious reasons, and then 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Just generic super poly targets kind of will be the best generic ones that will be in the game for a long time. And for the links, we only play 2. 1 Link Rebo. Normal Summon Biplis can actually be a starter because of this card, so you just link it off, and then not only that, you have a Link Rebo too, so it kind of does save you from some battle damage. And then Sylvan Danseponi, I think. Basically, I was watching this YouTuber who used to do pure Predaplant Master Duel content, they recently switched over to Fluffle content, which in my opinion is really unfortunate, but I do understand. I got Master Duel. I don't even play this deck anymore. I play Math Mech. But I discovered this card and I was like, yo, this card's crazy. Just declare 3, excavate 3 cards, and if you see 2 Predaplants in there, you summon them for free. And that was a big problem with Predaplant, was a lot of them get their effects when sent from the field and not just sent by card effect, period. So now this solves a huge problem that Predaplant had, being able to summon them from the deck with relative ease. So, and I figured I had one. I was like, I remember, what is this? Default? Yeah, I remember opening Dimension Force, getting this card, and like I was like, all right, cool. I didn't think of anything of it now because I didn't even read it. But when I saw it being used in that deck profile, I was like, I know I have this card. I checked around my collection. Turns out I found it in my trade binder, and I threw it in the soonest I could, and it's been an integral piece. With ultra polymerization being, you do the Orphis line and get Darlingtonia Cobra, and you get ultra polymerization. Not only do you get the ambulance search, you banish it, summon back the materials, link into Dance Pudding. You then get the potential additional fusion materials, which can be absolutely cracked. And I think their effects aren't even negated. Like, they just can't be used to link for link material, but we're not playing any other links other than these 2. So really, that's not even a restriction on us. So yeah, it was great fun. I'm doing this. It was, I miss making videos. I do plan on getting back into the swing of things. So if you guys want to stick around, you can. I will be uploading mainly video game content because I can't necessarily play in locals currently. But in my opinion, in terms of like the Yu-Gi-Oh cards we're getting with Phantom Nightmare coming out, and the new Yubel cards, which I'm really interested in coming out. If I'm able to get my hands on those, I definitely will. And I've been cooking up a list on the side. And so, yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in another video.